And thank you for joining us. I am, as always, Lio Convoy. And we have with me, of course, my daughter Opal. Say hi, Opal.
Hi, it's Opal.
And then we have my good friend Grim Dusan joining us for the first time.
Hey.
Now, just so you're aware, uh, Dusan here, he primarily works with James E. Talk. He's very knowledgeable about animation. He's been a fantastic supporter of the channel and has really given me some help when I've needed some information. He's very knowledgeable about filmation to an absurd degree, a good absurd type. But we're going to be going over Spector Creative's video about the Thunder Tank and his input from marketing viewpoint. I'm going to be addressing some of the dumb things he says here, not because I think that he has no knowledge in this field, but because there's a lot of things he said that aren't accurate. And to address Rich Laporte, there's a delicious irony to having an avatar foaming at the mouth because of an opinion they don't like. I couldn't care less if you have an opinion I don't like. I expect people to be able to back up their opinions with something other than my feelings are hurt and you are negative and I like this thing. If you can't handle that, don't open your mouth. And the frothing avatar is it's a reference to Chowder. I know that you think there's something really deep there, but if you do, you're probably stupid. And thanks for everybody joining the chat. How in the world do I have 18 likes on this before I started? Do people really hate this guy that much?
Yep.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so some background here. Scott Nyclick, a.k.a. Toy Guru, a.k.a. Spector Creative. He was the brand manager for Masters of the Universe and for a lot of other things Mattel did and DC did and so on, so forth. My interaction with this gentleman, I've had one direct one. How's it going, Venkman? And that was on the He-Man.org forums where he tried to blame some random toy blog for the decline of the He-Man Classics line for Matty Collector. And he got really mad about the fact that people were reporting, God, what was the name of that? Digital River? The company they used to take payments for He-Man figures for classics to the Better Business Bureau for not following through on their promises. And he got really mad. He blamed all the fans. It's all their fault that this thing didn't work instead of taking any form of responsibility for a garbage thing that he built, because we're not in the industry of taking responsibility. We're in the industry of blaming everybody else, right? So what we're going to do here is I've got Dusan, I've got my kid, and we're going to ultimately be going through the video he did today about the Thunder Tank. Now, I planned on discussing Scott at some point on the channel. I didn't plan on doing it today, but at some point on the channel, because he's said and done some really dumb things in general. But today, he decided to up that by stepping into my yard. And I don't like it when people step in my yard, especially when I don't invite them here. And just so we're aware, that doesn't mean people can't have takes or thoughts on ThunderCats. There's been a plethora of people on YouTube that have. I haven't said a word about them. I don't care. The problem is, what he's doing here is he's making excuses for a company that has no reason to have these things go on. So why do people hate the Mighty Spector? Because he's a bad design. He doesn't fit aesthetically with the rest of the series. It's an original character. Do not steal. It's goofy. It is so doggone goofy. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to hit play, and anybody in our side of the chat here, that means Opal or Grim, can hit pause at any time, and they can comment on what they want to. So hopefully this won't get struck down immediately when I start playing, because I don't know what type of person Scott is when it comes to copyright. So let's go ahead and get started.
Remember as a kid, there would be that really big present that we would get either for the holidays or for our birthday or for Arbor Day that, well, you can almost barely wrap your hands around. And, you know, even as an adult, there is something really cool about getting something in a giant box that won't fit under the Christmas tree or the Kwanzaa candles or the Hanukkah menorah or the Arbor Day box of fireworks. Well, this is something that just brings so much joy. And whether it's a gift that can't be wrapped but is still really big and you're, I guess, physically capable of putting...
Now, I want you guys to be aware of something concerning Scott. A critique of how he does things. I don't think he really scripts well, and he goes on long, rambling tirades with no real payoff. So he's trying his best to build this up, and he's really bad at it. A wordsmith, this man is not.
Putting a bow on it, big things tend to be expensive, and they tend to be, I guess you could say, worth the price of admission. Of course, there's smaller items that are expensive, and most women know what comes in this box, in that color. For collectors, well, there's been a recent emergence of more and more large, expensive items that are aimed directly at us. And in fact, they are not only aimed at us, but they often require a pre-order. They require us to either pay upfront or commit upfront to essentially tell the toy companies, the manufacturers, how many units they should make to mitigate their risk, to know that if they're going to put forth the effort to make these very large items, that they're actually going to sell and they're going to find a customer. Sometimes these items do very well and exceed expectations. Sometimes they barely squeak by, and companies have to offer all sorts of different tiers and added on benefits to try to get you to purchase it because they've already spent the tooling and didn't tell you that because it's their own IP, but that's a story for another time.
That you will never, ever, ever go into with any sort of rationale or intellect. But, let's move on.
And then sometimes there's the items that, while they have their best interests at heart, the item just does not sell in and doesn't get made. The whole concept of doing this, it started really with Kickstarter, but Mattel was one of the first to really embrace this. And yes, I know I'm tooting my own horn because I was the brand manager for this particular item.
You really think you were the first person to ever Kickstart or crowdfund a toy? And Guru, you were a bad toy brand manager. You constantly made excuses. You constantly put the onus on the fans. You didn't know how to market. You act like you were some sort of savior of this brand, like you were a valiant knight fighting for people to have toys. You weren't. You were a corporate bootlicker, and you still are.
The Motu Classics Castle Grayskull, but hey, everything that HasLab is doing, Mattel did it 10 years earlier. And like big items that you would find under a specific holiday decoration, this castle, this playset came in a giant box, and if it arrived under your tree or candelabra or whatever it is that you decorate with in the holidays, well, it looked awesome wrapped up. Recently, there's been a new big item put out.
I have to ask, why? Anybody here have a clear idea why he keeps talking about toys under trees? Grim, you have any idea why he's bringing up Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and Arbor Day? What's the relation here?
I have no idea. I mean,
we're almost 3 minutes into this.
byproducts.
We're 3 minutes into this, and he's going on about presents under the tree and how cool they look wrapped. Get to the freaking point.
She's rambling.
Oh my God.
She's rambling.
Continuing.
By Super 7. And they haven't really done this before. Super 7 has done some really great collector items. They fortunately took over Masters of the Universe Classics once Mattel passed it off.
Once you screwed it up so bad, Mattel closed down Matty Collector because they didn't see it as making the money they wanted it to. And if I'm wrong, Dusan, feel free to correct me.
You're right.
Uh-huh.
It was just crap.
It was. It really was.
Now that they're doing ThunderCats, they have introduced the Super 7 ThunderCats Thunder Tank, which, while not as big as something like Castle Grayskull or the Sail Barge or Unicron, it's pretty big, especially for a vehicle, because it has to accommodate 6.5-inch action figures, which, as someone who's worked on vehicles for 6.5-inch action figures, these vehicles are big, and they're very expensive to tool. Castle Grayskull, as reference,
Tooling.
Always the tooling, huh?
$1 million in pre.
The magic word, tooling.
Oh, don't worry.
Therefore, everything is okay. Everything is okay because tooling, it's expensive. How much? Doesn't matter. It's tooling.
Don't worry. You're gonna. I don't know if you've seen this video yet, but you're gonna see something amazing here. This is gonna be fun.
So while this item comes in a big box and it's designed to, I think, accommodate 6 figures, can ride in it, as well as, other characters around to scream at it, as they always do in the artwork on the front. You always see the bad guys like cursing, like, "Oh, that vehicle!"
No, you don't.
That vehicle, it's too expensive. Fuck it.
Also, the art on the Thunder Tank, it's not compositionally, it's garbage. Like they're driving by the villains and not even paying attention, with the exception of Pumira. It's ridiculous.
Well, let's look at the price tag. $450. Pretty close to the sail barge as far as what you're going to lay out ahead of time.
The Thunder Tank is 27 inches long. The sail barge is what, 6 feet? No.
Yep.
It's not the same. It's not even close to the size of the sail barge. It's a third of the size of the sail barge. Hey, Michiro, don't worry. I haven't taken it personally. All right, so let's continue.
Now, this one isn't requiring you to have a minimum to order in order to go into production, but they do want the money up front. So a lot of fans are saying, well, what's up with the high price tag? Why is it just as much as the sail barge when it's so much smaller? Well,
because Super 7 knows fans are dumb enough to do it, and he likes to milk them, even though the entire time Scott's going to go through this, he does not once address the other issues with Super 7 about one reason why people are apprehensive, because they delivered nothing but Wave 1 despite having all the money for the other Waves 2.
Look at the basic figures. Look at things like, like a basic ThunderCats figure from...
Hold on real quick. I want to address Stax here. Stax, what would make me consider buying this? First and foremost, I'm probably going to have to simply to review it, because nobody else is going to objectively review this dumb thing. They're just going to talk about, oh, it's great, it's great because it's great. No, if it sucks, I'm going to tell you it sucks. But what would really seal the deal? If you look at Wave 4, what Super 7's done is they have altered the Matty Collector He-Man buck to have the proper musculature that the Thundercat characters have. If they were to reassess and to include a Panthro and Lionel with the proper buck and heightened correctly in this, then I would 100% be completely satisfied buying it, but I'd still criticize the ever-loving daylights out of it. Let's continue.
Super 7. And yes, I know Super 7 also did Snake Mountain, which was not that much more than the Thunder Tank.
$150 more, and much, much bigger.
Well, the basic figures, I think they're around $40, $50, right? Although you do get a lot of accessories and, nice window box.
Well, you get a lot of accessories in the first wave, but they've been consistently getting less accessories in other waves, and they're going to raise the price by $10 on wave 5. Watch it happen.
Interchangeable hands, alternative hands.
And we also get incorrect colors. For all that money. No.
Incorrect colors, multiple hands that are the same hands, incorrect scaling, incorrect sculpting. It's not worth it. But it's okay. People like it.
A waste of money.
A waste of money, correct.
Sometimes when they give you the wrong loincloth, they'll resend you the right one. Well, looking at something like the sail barge, your basic figure is only about $12. Although, they used to be $4.99 when they started. And you could get a lot of figures on the aftermarket or for eBay for $5. So you could yes, I know some of the specific figures you need.
Oh my God, stop rambling, you idiot.
But let's just say you wanted to fill it with random figures. You could, get them relatively inexpensive. So why is the sail barge, which is so much bigger, or even Snake Mountain, which is so much bigger, the same price as the Thunder Tank, which is relatively smaller? And, well, honestly, the answer is fan base. Star Wars is big, which means that they can absorb what's called the minimum order quantity easier. Anytime you're producing under this, the factory is going to increase the production cost. When you Google Star Wars fan base, literally that phrase, this is the first image or the second image that comes up. Obviously, lots of people very passionate about Star Wars.
And primarily cosplayers. That way it trips the algorithm because people are interested in it. If you're going to talk... Here's the thing. If you talk about numbers, you need something more than just a single picture. That is not a good way to make an argument. That is not a good way to prove popularity or numbers versus anything.
When you Google the same thing, ThunderCats fan base, this is the first image that comes up.
How is this an argument, you mental infant? If I were to Google He-Man gay, I could find something from the 4 Non-Blondes video. I guess that means He-Man's gay. That is so freaking stupid.
And I scrolled...
Also, millions watched that video.
Well, yes. But my point is... My point,
so what does that say?
It means nothing. The thing is, he doesn't know how to make an argument. Now, the truth of the matter is, the ThunderCats fandom is much smaller than Star Wars fandom. You don't say. It's almost like one is initially a trilogy of movies that went all over the world, whereas another is a children's cartoon that aired in only very specific countries. No Duh, Star Wars is bigger. Congratulations. You're a genius.
Also, so what if it's tiny? What prevents it from getting bigger? Because all these franchises used to have 0 fans. They all grew in popularity. They all started with 0.
Correct. To address the chat, Tim Hayes, surprised Motu Thunder isn't here yet because he's not allowed to comment on the channel anymore. I had my phone with him. Silent, why are you insulting him? You sound like an a-hole, to be honest. I don't owe this guy any specific respect, and he's making really dumb arguments, so I'm going to insult him. You're probably new to the channel, but I don't hide what I feel about people or what I think of them. And I've seen this man actively lie to people before, so I'm going to insult him. If that's not your taste, you don't have to stay. That's fine. Go with God, but that's how I operate on this channel.
Images trying to find, pictures of a crowd of ThunderCats fans, and I honestly could not find one.
It's because most Thundercat fans are in our 30s and 40s, and we work full-time jobs, and we're nowhere near as infatuated with this as Star Wars fans are with their property. That's just the truth of the matter. Also, if you're worried about cosplay, if you're using cosplay as a metric, which is what you're ultimately doing when you use Google image searches for fandoms, it's a lot easier for older people with dad bods to dress as a Jedi than Lion-O. And trust me, you don't want that. Now, somebody dressing as Chitara, that's another matter altogether. But still, my point stands.
So that's basically illustrating the point that while Thundercats fans are very passionate, Star Wars is the big dog in the room. I mean, it has been for decades now. And the bigger the fan base, bigger the fan base, or girls.
It's called a second take, and it's called editing. You might want to try it sometime, sport.
The closer a company can get to hitting that MOQ or surpassing it, like they, I'm sure, did with the Razor Razor.
Second takes, you dummy.
Crest. Can't talk today. So when you're under the MOQ, the factory is going to charge you more. Now let's look at the box. Let's look at the box for the sail barge. The other question people are asking is, well, why can't they just sell these items at retail? Because then they could charge less for them.
Oh, we're going to have fun with this one. We're going to have so much fun with this one.
Well, that's why I'm showing you pictures of the box, okay? This is the box the sail barge came in. This is its shipper box that showed up at people's doors. Now, the question I have is, if they're going to sell these at retail, it's not necessarily an issue of cost. I mean, Target, Walmart sell items for hundreds of dollars every day, things like TVs and, iPads and screens and, really expensive Hershey bars that are encrusted with diamonds. If you have...
What? Also, real quick, I want to comment on something that Omega Supreme said about whether or not they're going to use the He-Man body for Power Rangers. I honestly kind of hope so, because that would be hilarious. I don't really care for Super 7, but I would unironically buy a super buff Red Ranger just because it would be hilarious. It would be hilarious. Let's continue.
Have a box that big with a toy. Tell me where you're going to put it.
In the back, where you put the bikes and the Power Wheels and the other larger ticket items.
Yeah. Yeah, same place where you put that larger thunder tank that actually is motorized and plays sound effects and can fit 2 children inside.
Yes, actually, Dusan and I were talking about this on Facebook, and I sent him a picture of a Power Wheel. It's called the Thunder Tank, which is like a giant child-sized version of a tank that fits 2 kids. It's motorized, has an engine and all that. $398. It's $50 cheaper than the toy Thunder Tank for action figures. So there's your answer, Scott. You put it in back, or you even do what Joe Amato said. You do what Toys R Us did back in the day, and you get a ticket, and you present it to the register, and they go back and they get it. A ticket that shows the item and shows what you're buying. They did it for video game systems, games, even movies. I remember my mom getting Pocahontas that way in the 90s when I was a kid. So yes, that's how you do it, Mr. Big Marketing Man. It's the way that they had done it years beforehand. It's not hard.
It's a matter of shelf space. Even the TVs are in the back. So every toy, every item sold in the toy aisle is done based on a planogram, which means an organized merchandising plan of where things are located. This is done for every aisle, every item, with less expensive items on the top, more expensive items on the bottom. And that mid-level, that tends to be the sweet spot, which you have to usually incentivize for. So looking at, like, say, the Star Wars planogram here from a few years ago, you can see everything is organized for an exact spot. Figures, deluxe, roleplay. This is the Star Wars planogram right now, and I know it's a little empty. This is my local Target, but look at all the items even on the bottom shelf. Even the spaces that are missing, that are empty, there's a SKU that's supposed to be there. They're just out of stock.
Yes, we are toy collectors. We know how this works. Please get to your point.
So the question is, where would the sail barge go? It would take up both. They'd have to remove that middle shelf. I mean, it's too big for even the bottom shelf.
I gave you an answer. Real quick, to Shizuo. Can we get you to cosplay Exodus and live action, Catman? Quality content, if you ask me. I mean, I can do that for my wife every night if she wants. Anyways, moving on.
They would literally have to reorganize the aisle to accommodate a box that big. And yes, again, I know there's items missing, but pretend that they're there because they're all...
Then they alter the planogram, because the planogram's entire purpose is to sell the items they have. If ThunderCats came into retail stores, they would alter the planogram to be able to have these bigger ticket items. That's why the shelves are adjustable.
Are SKU tags, meaning that real estate space is assigned. Big box stores aren't really big on gambling, because when they gamble on a product, if there's no guarantee it's going to sell, then they wind up with stock, then they have to clear it out.
No product is guaranteed to sell. And I know what you're going to say here, and I'm going to slap the dog crap out of you when you're done saying it.
It just becomes such a hassle that it's way easier to say no to something experimental.
Now, real quick, I want you guys to take a look at this, all right? Because I've seen this too. Star Trek Mego figures. I Dream of Genie Mego figures. Type a 1 in chat for all of you who are really hardcore fans of I Dream of Genie to the point to where you want action figures of them. Like, Doosan, we're fairly older people. Did you ever in your life ever want an I Dream of Genie action figure?
No, but primarily because that show never aired over here, so yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're from out of here. I Dream of Genie is a show my parents watched, not me.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with it. It's from the 60s.
Yeah. So these are really obscure things that they're selling toys of in Target. Toys in Target of something super obscure. And we'll get to that in a little bit here.
Experimental than to say yes.
In the year 2021.
Yep.
They don't say yes. I mean, toy aisles have often carried items that, are sort of experimental. I mean, Target does bet on things, so does Walmart. And sometimes these things work, and sometimes they go very quickly to the clearance aisle.
Yeah, those things didn't go to the clearance aisle. They got bought out. So we have Happy Days. We have all these other things. It's ridiculous. This is goofy.
But they are willing to take bets. So you might say, okay, well, what about putting it on an end cap? Here's an end cap, for collectors that, it's in front of the Lego aisle, but it's, shouting out for collectors. Again.
Matt Rubin, I've never been in a Target with I Dream of Genie figures. I think it might be in closer to the girls section. I'm not really sure where I saw it specifically. I was looking for Grimlock, okay? It was important.
The sail barge wouldn't fit on this.
We're not talking about the sail barge right now. We're talking about the Thunder Tank, which is what your entire video is supposed to be about. But thanks, Chief.
And ThunderCats figures aren't sold at Target, so they wouldn't carry
You don't say!
The Thunder Tank. I mean, granted, Star Wars figures are, but again, where are you physically going to merch it? Where are you going? Are you going to put one and say, call an attendant and he'll bring it from the back? Are you going to put it in the large item aisle with bikes? Sure, yeah, those aisles might be organized in a way that the box would fit on shelves.
Look at what he's pointing out here. Ready to buy on the right-hand side of the screen, where it has the little tag things. You could easily do that. He doesn't even know it, but he just destroyed his own point here.
But that means that the sail barge has to do more turns, more velocity, more volume than a child's bike or a playset, outdoor, playhouse that is merged on this aisle. So if it's going to replace an item in this aisle, like that slide there, that means that you have, if you will, Hasbro has to sort of not guarantee, but sell in the idea that the sail barge will sell more units than that slide.
No, that's not necessarily true. It's very obvious this man's not used to having anybody go at it with him, and I know this because I have. And he does not know how to respond when anybody tells him he needs to back his stuff up with some sort of evidence here. if you are taking over specific shelf space, you can do one of two things in a store. You can either negotiate with the store and get a higher bid. That's specifically for like sodas and whatnot. But when it comes to stuff like this, all you really have to do is make sure they have planogram space and make sure they're willing to carry it.
And it deserves that space. The reason I bring all this up is, honestly, with all of this HasLab and Super 7 pre-orders and what used to be Matty Collector, we're very lucky to be getting this stuff. It doesn't work at retail for...
We're lucky to be getting this stuff. It doesn't work at... Don't worry, I'm about to destroy you on that one, so let's finish this.
Variety of reasons. And the cost is simply because of the size of the fan base and the number of units.
I want to go ahead and point this out. This man has said for years, we have to support Masters of the Universe Classics online because it will not sell at retail. We can't get it in retail. It would never do well at retail. Dusan, what happened after Super 7 lost the license to He-Man? What did Mattel do?
Oh, they just put it in retail and the figures are selling. That's all.
This man lied to the He-Man community for the better part of how long he was in it. I can't remember how long he took over the specific He-Man Classics line, but I know it was for several years. He lied to you all. He lied to you.
There since the start of the line.
Really? Since the beginning. So 12 years. For almost 12 years,
Yep.
He lied to people. Lied to them. It won't work in retail. It won't work in retail. It won't work in retail. What does it do? It works in retail. It works in retail. So let's go ahead and finish this because I'm going to do some math here.
The smaller and more niche the property, the more expensive it's going to be to make items for it, especially big items, because you're producing under MOQ, and you have to pass along that cost to the consumer. You know, to quote the great philosopher Marshall Mathers III, you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Yo.
All right, to quote Diogenes,
I'm surprised he didn't say tooling.
Tooling. He only did once. But all right, to quote a better philosopher, Diogenes, your argument sucks and you suck. I think we lost Opal at some point here. I think she's dead. Are you okay, child? Are you alive over there?
Opal is not dead. The watch together just didn't work, and so I gave up.
Aw, poor Opal. It's all right. You probably don't care too much about this, but let's go ahead and do this. All right, so he talks about MLQ, or MQR, whatever you want to call it, the minimum quantity order. So let's do some basic math here. There are over 4,000 Walmarts in the U.S. So, big ticket item. Let's assume every single Walmart buys 2 Thunder tanks. So that's 8,000 Thunder tanks, and that's just the Walmart. That's not including comic shop. That's not including Targets. That's not including specialty shops. Just Walmart. That's 8,000. Now, what do you think is more likely? For 8,000 stores to be able to procure and order something, or for Brian Flynn to meet his 20,000 desire threshold to lower this thing's cost? Obviously, it's the Walmart. The truth of the matter is, the reason why these things don't come to retail is because that takes more effort, and it's a lot easier to just sell it directly to fans from a logistics side, and to just sell us whatever they want at whatever price they want because they know we're desperate to get it.
And they also know that we don't know the exact cost of manufacturing.
But we are finding out. Real quick, thank you, Avatar Material. Do you prefer buying toys in person or store, online, or does it depend on what you're looking at? Also, take my money. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I prefer in person if I can, simply because that gives me a better idea of what I'm getting. But I'll order online in a lot of cases too, depending on the product here. But when it comes down to it, what Scott likes to do is he likes to frame things in a disingenuous, dishonest way. I saw this clown, not raging, but he made a video talking about his time in He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and the stories they were doing for the comics that they had in the figures, and how, well, all my work got undone by fans who did not get the clearance of Mattel to change the story, even though I made He-Man grow old and I killed Skeletor. They were just super mad that Skeletor was killed. No. He lied through his teeth. Penny Dreadful and Eric both got clearance from Mattel for it because you don't do crap like that. And more importantly, they wanted to make sure that the product line and the storyline was something that would appeal to people. You suck at writing, Scott. Grimdark does not belong in He-Man. Literally, it does not belong there. It's dumb. He does not know how to frame arguments. He does not know how to get his point across, and he will lie through his teeth if he thinks he'll get him some sort of leg up on people.
He has done so for years and years and years.
Let's see here. Allsmart TV. Well, I missed the whole thing up until now, but I know Spector Creative was like a brand manager or something for Motu. He seems pretty knowledgeable. He is in certain aspects. But he's also lied to people before. He's also put the onus on the people for the wrong reason. And in this case, all he's doing is repeating the same lie he told people for 12 years. So let me go ahead and run. We ran through a bit of numbers here, but let's run through some other things here. Okay, so He-Man wouldn't sell in retail. What does it do? It sells in retail. Ninja Turtles has always had an ongoing toy line for the most part since 87, 89? 87. It has had a continually ongoing wellspring of a product. A couple year gaps here and there. At no point did anyone sit there and say, outside of the niche Ninja Turtle community that exists for collector figures specifically, say, I want movie-accurate Ninja Turtles in 1/12 scale. But when they got put out, they keep selling out. And not just that, but also the Toon Run, both by NECA, they keep selling out at every Target or Walmart they're in. I know Walmart only carried a few of them, but they keep selling out. So He-Man works in retail. Niche Ninja Turtle figures works in retail. I Dream of Jeannie works in retail. Happy Days works in retail. These things are outside of our normal zeitgeist of nerddom. They are only tangentially related because we know them because our parents watched them, not because we were avid watchers of these shows. How is it we can sit here and say, well, they can sell, but something better known to our generation, like ThunderCats, can't? They have action figures and dolls of the Golden Girls. And the Golden Girls are funny, granted, but most people within my generation who were kids when Golden Girls came out, they didn't get so obsessed with it that they wanted action figures. I mean, usually if they're my age and they buy it, it's because it's a meme. It's funny. It's really doggone stupid. They're dumb arguments. You could put ThunderCats on the shelf, and the same thing that happened with He-Man Origins is going to happen with ThunderCats, just to a lower number. Somebody's going to walk down a toy aisle with their kid to get a Fortnite action figure or a Power Ranger or a Transformer or whatever, and they're going to see ThunderCats, and they're going to go, I remember that. What do you mean they have new toys of it? And they're going to look at it, and they might buy it. Or you're going to get people like me or the rest of the collector community or the Thundercat community, or even general tangentially related communities that are going to go to stores on release day, and they're going to buy them, and they're going to go. You see that happen even with the modern G.I. Joe line that keeps selling out every single time they put something out, and those toys look like garbage. The truth of the matter is they want to tell you it doesn't work at retail because it benefits them, because every single time they sell a toy that's higher priced, they make more money. And it's a lot less risky. It's a lot less risky for them, and it takes a lot less work. For them to sell it to Walmart, they have to have meetings with different people at Walmart. They have to be able to sell it to Walmart specifically verbally and tell them they will be successful. It takes more work for them. That's why they don't do it. It has nothing to do with whether or not it's going to actually work. It's about the amount of work they want to put into it. They don't care. So I don't know. Maybe he's trying to get in good with Super 7. Maybe he's just trying to defend his own decisions. I don't know, but it's goofy. And the fact that I've got 83 people watching this, that's not normal for a stream I do. I'm sorry, but it's not. Especially not having 18 likes before I even started. People have apparently really not liked this guy. And a whole bunch of people not liking you, just so we're all aware, isn't indicative that you've done some evil or you've done some wrong or even that you're a bad person. But he has actively lied to a lot of people. And whenever he gets called out on it, instead of defending himself, instead of being able to retort or come out with a better argument, he just backpedals. I saw him do it, and I'll likely see him do it again. He's probably going to make, if he does ever see this, which I doubt he will, but if he does, he's probably going to see some super passive-aggressive video out there about the these and the theys that doubt him or anything else. He's never going to address me directly. That's not what he does. Because when Penny called him out specifically in that video where he said it was a bunch of upset fans, he backpedaled. He always does. And people like him always do. Corporate people who have a corporate mindset, they do not have teeth, and they do not know how to dig their heels in and make an argument. They do not know how to do it. That's why they're all so doggone soft. That's why none of them are able to get outside of their field of vision. They just keep making the same mistakes, keep making the same statements, and they will not defend it. You have anything to add about this, Dusan? Because I know you've been involved with the Scott aspect of this for a lot longer than I have.
Oh, you covered it all. There's nothing else to say.
So yeah, these are the type of people that run these things. These are the type of people who make excuses for things. And at some point, I plan on doing a full scripted, edited video about the entire plethora of shenanigans that happened during the 10-year of Masters of the Universe Classics and how they kept lying to people. Play Diamond Super 7, their defenders, and the craft they're now pulling with Power Rangers makes me want to impale myself with the Legacy Dragon Dagger. At least you're going for a sturdier one made. But no, you're going to see people going on here, well, we should be grateful. We should be happy to buy these things. No, you don't have... They're toys, first and foremost, right? So you don't have a privilege to buy a toy. You don't. If you've gotten to the point to where you think it's a privilege to buy a toy, you need to step back and reassess your life.
But you know, you're just angry because you can't afford it.
That argument. It's so goofy. Anybody here who's seen my Unicron video knows at that time how big my Transformer collection is, and it's gotten even bigger. I just dropped in this past week alone about $300 on figures overall. It's kind of goofy. If you don't like it, it's clearly because you're poor. No, it has nothing to do with being poor, you idiot. Address the argument. And I got some clown on Retro Blasting's comment section right now, really mad because we're negative. We're all adults. If we can't handle criticism, especially, look, if I was criticizing like their moms, yeah, I would fully expect them to be mad and come at me with full rage and fury. And I would understand that. And I probably wouldn't be mad about them being angry about it, but I'm not talking about their mom. I'm talking about a toy company and the product they put out there. If you've gotten to the point to where you're defending a toy and a corporation that'll never know who you are, to the extent that you're willing to talk trash about a human being, you're an idiot. Please find a bridge with no water under it that's about 200 feet tall and just jump. Because at that point, you've lost the plot. You have lost the plot. Just to play devil's advocate, action figure expert for a second. Maybe this guy does not want to make a counterpoint or take his teeth because he might cost him his job. He works for himself right now, action figure expert. He works for himself right now. But the thing is, I can understand if somebody works for a company and doesn't want to put out a message that's contrary to their company's purpose, but he's not that. And the people who are in that boat probably shouldn't be running a YouTube channel like that to begin with. Like, it'd be counterproductive. I'm of the mentality everybody can rage about, well, you use mean words, you're not super nice to them, you hurt my feelings, whatever.
Or even you don't know what you're talking about because you're a milkman, some other inane stupid shit.
Yeah, I had one guy say, well, you bragged about being a milkman, a wrecking milk truck. I didn't brag about it, I talked about it, you infant.
He's still a milkman.
I am not a milkman, child. Oh my God, I have not been a milkman for 5 years. You're grounded. But no, it's so stupid. Here's the kicker, right? One thing that really destroys their entire argument about we're a small company, we can't do this. Look at the entire third-party Transformers community. They're much smaller companies, with much smaller production runs, that still make better figures, generally at a lower cost. Like, what is it? Did a close to 2 feet tall Devastator third-party figure that was absurdly detailed, absurdly intricate. And this isn't just, well, it's a vehicle and has action features. No, they have to be able to maintain robot mode full functionality. They have to turn into a vehicle with full functionality. Then they have to be part of a limb with full functionality. And it was less expensive than the Thunder Tank. I think it was called Devi. Less expensive than the Thunder Tank. And done by a smaller company than Super 7. WTF is a 21st century Hold on real quick. WTF is a 21st century milkman. They deliver to schools, gas stations, restaurants, stuff like that, Allspark. Go ahead, Dusan.
look also at the knockoff Transformers of Masterpiece figures.
That's right.
They're all much cheaper.
Much cheaper and much smaller runs than Takara does for their larger ones.
Despite the super complex engineering.
And they're often at similar, if not equal quality than the originals, aren't they?
Yeah, I have some of those, and they're very, very. You can barely tell that they're knockoffs.
Real quick here. I hope Lao does more figure reviews. I plan to. I plan to put out the Glow in the Dark Mumra review sometime in the near future. I've been dealing with some issues. And then I have to do the Wave 1 of the Super 7 Ultimate Ninja Turtles, and I got Wave 2 behind that. I just got Wave 2 in. And here's the thing. Here's what I really hate. The Ninja Turtles are generally good. The only complaints I really have right now is how small the peg for the hands go, because it pops out really easily. And secondly, Brian has this really, really hard hatred of double jointed knees and elbows. But when you can do it on a Ninja Turtle without sacrificing the problem he has. He doesn't think it looks well in a silhouette. He thinks it breaks the line too much. But in the Ninja Turtle figure, specifically the turtles themselves, you can do that because they have the pads on their elbows and knees. So when you bend them now, it looks super awkward because now it looks like the elbow pad and knee pads are below the joints. So it's outside of that, they are what they're supposed to be. They are modern recreations of the original Playmates line, and overall, they're pretty good. That's the thing. It's the same problem I had with the He-Man ThunderCats crossover. I know at least one of the people on that crossover is a good writer, and they sucked on that book. I know Super 7 can do better quality product, but they suck on this line, and apparently others too. I wish a bigger company had the ThunderCats license. I do too. Imagine Hasbro making 6-inch ThunderCat figures. Well, Hasbro's distribution will have to correct itself before I get fond of that. Their Lightning Collection and Marvel Legends figures are highly articulated. I love the Lightning Collection. I really do. Question, would you ever consider talking about SWAT Cats? I actually do like SWAT Cats. And if you ever want to see a toy line that drastically deviates from the animation models, look at SWAT Cats. I don't know what happened there, but the 4 action figures that came out for that line are so far removed from the animation models. It's ridiculous. But I would love to talk about SWAT Cats, and I'd love to review the 4-figure toy line. Some of the details are missing. They are small, but the figures only cost $20. That's true. Pixel Gan got another floppy Super 7 TMNT. He didn't sound very positive about it. He will talk about tiny little articulation problems. He won't address any of the nonsense that Super 7's done. When even the diehard fans won't buy your product or the licensed product, there's a problem. Correct. Maybe the reasons why Super ThunderCats is getting screwed up by Super 7 is because Brian's got cat phobia. I don't think that's the case. I think he just doesn't care. Do milkmen still get housewives when the husbands go to work? All right, I'll tell a little story here, and hopefully some idiot won't go on about how I'm making fun of a coworker. Blah, 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 blah. There was this coworker I had, and this coworker was the milkman stereotype. To the fact that he quit because the government was garnishing his wages to oblivion because he had like 10 or 12 surrogate kids that were all like his name Junior, and his girlfriend had no clue. It was a mess. So that dude wound up quitting because he got tired of the government taking his wages. I saw the figures for SWAT Cats. Oh my god! I was like, "What happened?" I don't know. I really wish they did. What about some good old 80s anime figures? I would love some good old anime figures from the 80s. I would love to get me some Kenshiro and some Rao based on the animated series. I would love a completely like fully functional set of Gatchaman. I know it's 70s, but still. Who's the best toy manufacturer for you? If it was on you, who would be the better Bionic 6, Jason Wheeled Warriors, Galaxy Ranger action figures? Despite their distribution problems and other things, I think Hasbro's pretty solid. The thing is with Bionic 6, as niche as ThunderCats is, Bionic 6, Jason Wheeled Warriors, Galaxy Ranger, those are much more niche. But they would be neat to have in modern form. You got some, huh? Well, I don't know. I don't think they ever came out with figures that were animation accurate for Fist of the North Star. I know there's some new ones coming out, though. How's it going, Johnny 2x4? I accidentally pre-ordered those TMNT retro box sets. Man, Allspark TV, you've got to reassess because those are not worth it. Like $100 for figures that are like 10 at retail. I mean, come on. There are a lot of bubblegum prices and Macross figures. I actually am not big on Macross. I'm more of a super robot guy than a real robot guy. Thoughts on Dan Larson, Lyle? I don't like him. I don't like Dan Larson on a personal level. Well, I own the original toy, so it would be nice to get them. I don't disagree with wanting them. Like, they've been reissued so many times, all Spark TV, that you could find them on card cheaper than the packs that they're selling right now. Brian Dillingham. Did NECA look at the Bespin C-3PO from Kenner in the 80s and figured this out how action figures were supposed to be made? Probably. It's what my dad bought me as a child when he loved me. Ouch, man. You talk about your problems a lot, man. What's up, my dude? Torque. Sound like my teacher. So I'm currently looking into collecting Avatar The Last Airbender figures. Do you know where I can find some? Oddly enough, you can find some right now at Walgreens. I think McFarlane Toys are the ones selling them. Actually, no, it's somebody else. But they're selling Avatar The Last Airbender.
Don't bother.
Don't bother.
McFarlane is the worst ever.
No, I
Besides
think
Funko is the worst.
Oof, that's a hot take from Opal. What McFarlane?
They made terrible FNAF Legos.
McFarlane?
Yes.
I didn't even know McFarlane made Legos.
No, they're not real Legos. They're pretend Legos, and they're FNAF, and they're all bad.
Is FNAF cursed like ThunderCats is, Opal, to where every time they're picked up by somebody, it's garbage?
No, because Sanji or whatever the fuck their name was did it good, and then now they don't have the rights to it anymore, and I can't find anything of theirs because it's all really expensive.
Poor Opal. She is learning how it is as an adult toy collector. Everything sucks.
I don't even want to do this anymore.
Wait, seriously, Walgreens? Yeah, Walgreens. If you go into their toy section, they have Avatar The Last Airbender figures. Alan McNetty's doing a live interview with Brian Flynn on his YouTube channel about the Thunder Tank on the 7th of February. Well, he can go sit there and jack off Brian Flynn for all I care. That's all that's going to happen. He's not going to take Brian Flynn to task on anything. How loud do you feel about The Legend of Chima? I don't, because I never watched it and I never cared for it. Funko has too many FNAF pops. You know, the weird thing is I went to Walmart today and they had the first wave that was like from 4 years ago at Walmart for Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know what's going on with that.
It wasn't the first wave, but it was still shit.
Really? I thought it was the first one.
They made a they made that series, and then they made this special edition with Foxy in it, and it was glow in the dark, and it looked really bad because the glow in the dark wasn't like the see-through paint, and so while it was light outside, he was just like skin color. It was gross.
Who thought growing up like that we wouldn't? Hold on, let's see here. It got out of my way. Who thought growing up we would end up having to buy toys like these crappy plates that you could buy in the back of magazine supplements? Okay, better run to Walgreens. What about Diamond Select? Okay, yeah, Diamond Select has Avatar. I'm sorry. Who is the most honest and better toy reviewer for your taste? Damazing? I don't know who that is. Shartimus? He's okay. Optibotimus? Never cared for him. Daredevil 19 or any other you recommend. As far as toy reviewers, Emgo I find amusing. Jobby can be hilarious, but sometimes he oversells it. But Jobby's at least honest about what he has. If something sucks, he's going to tell you it sucks. So he's not everybody's taste. He can be a little bit edgy for everybody's liking, but Jobby is generally an honest person. But he primarily focuses on mecha toys. I collect Funko Pops. Am I a loser? Yes, and you should feel bad. But I still like you, so it's okay. I remember watching the first episode of Chima and dropping it immediately afterwards. I wonder why. Search on YouTube for Alan Magnetti. He has 2 channels, I think. One of them is dedicated to collecting. Are the FNAF figures are not good? All right. I bought the Vanny figure because I was going to give it to Opal, but I wanted to use it as a reference for a modern toy that wasn't Transformers or something for the glow-in-the-dark Mumra review I'm doing. I hate that toy. I hate that Vanny figure so doggone much. I have never in my life had more of a frustrating time posing a toy because, you know what, screw calling her Vanny. Just call her Fall Apart Rabbit because that's what she is. She's Fall Apart Rabbit in a different cosplay from Bonkers.
Fuck you, Funko. God, I hate you. You ruin everything that I care about. Why are you like this? I can't, like, they take everything that I like in the world, and then they shit on it and then put it in a box, and then they're all like, hey, you gotta buy it now because we're the only ones who sells it. I am I want people to write letters now for us, the company.
I don't know about FNAF, but certainly Pops and Set of Pops, if they're popular enough, they'll get restocked. Hot Topic is a good example of old Funko Pops getting restocked constantly. I mean, I hate to say it, but they are popular.
Oh my god, sorry. I went to the mall and there was a comic book shop there. I didn't see a single comic, and I shit you not, like floor to ceiling, wall to wall Funko Pops everywhere. And in the middle there was a table full of them. I was surprised that it wasn't just like a Funko Pop store with like 2 plushies that were also made by Funko, by the way. It was ridiculous. I don't understand. We need even if Funko was a good company, even if Funko Pops were the best thing ever, I need more things right now because I feel nothing.
Oof, that's harsh. OJA says, what do you think of Anthony's custom? I don't know anything about that. Wasn't Imgo the same guy who called Lio a snowflake? Yes, but I think he did it as a joke, so I don't actually take it offensively. Come on, man. Shartimus. At least he is not bad, except Hasbro boy. I mean, that's fine. It's just not specifically my taste. I'll look at him occasionally. Let's see here. Although with the Funko Pops, what really sucks is they have exclusives at so many different stores, and even then the exclusives for only their store, the Funko shop. Yeah, Opal's talked about that before. What country is Funko from? I think they're based here in the States. Let's see here. Hey,
they're not based.
Go ahead, Dusan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're from the States.
Okay. Hey, Lio, how do you...
Or was he asking from which state there are?
I think he just said what country is Funko from. Let's see here.
Oh, they're from America, United States.
Yes, which kind of disproves American exceptionalism right then and there. But anyways, hey Lio, how do you feel about Gendy's work, like Samurai Jack, Dexter's Lab, and Symbiotic Titan? I watched a bit of Dexter's Lab when I was a kid, and I was generally amused by it. I haven't sat down and rewatched it. I saw very little of Symbiotic Titan, but I do love Samurai Jack. I genuinely love Samurai Jack. The only reviewers I ever watched were Go ahead.
Even those new seasons.
I have my criticisms, and I'll leave it at that. The only reviews I ever watched were Balt Matrix, JT Michael 87, and Eva Unit 4A from Collection DX. Collection DX is fascinating. I really like some of their stuff. Their older articles, at least. Somebody earlier asked me about my opinion on Michael Mercy. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. I think he's probably a good guy generally, but he had pulled a stunt with me about a year ago that I don't watch him anymore. So you like Primal? I actually do. I love Primal. At some point, I'm going to start doing my own figures. Dang it. Go for it, man. Do it up. Let's see here. My local comic shop is a few Funko Pops. I am so sorry. But it's mostly comic characters. That's good. I have a friend who really likes the Funko style. How do I cure them? Here's what you do, Carl. Here's what you do. You sit them down, and you get a Bible. And you're like, all right, it's my understanding you got a demon in you.
Funko is the reason capitalism doesn't work, because they get monopolies, and then the quality shit goes away, and it doesn't matter how hard you work, it's still shit because they don't care. They get profit anyway. You all are slaves and sheep if you keep buying their shit.
Bot Matrix is good. Robo from the Foosh is alright as well, but only because he makes fun of stuff as well to review it. I don't trust the Foosh. Do you remember Saint Seiya? I never saw it myself, but I know enough about it. I'm still waiting for the Afro Samurai Season 3. Good luck with that. Joe Amato, the Italian. Hey, Lio, what do you think of Richard Brooker's portrayal of Jason? I don't watch horror movies. Yeah, good review, terms of quality. Thoughts on Mr. Enter's thoughts on Samurai Jack Season 5? I don't watch Mr. Enter because I have a brain. Lego is infinitely superior to Funko because they are actually playable. True. You tell them there is a God. That is a good way to tell somebody to stop buying these things. Let's see. You got to stage an intervention. Man, this guy, Michael Mercy, has gotten a bunch of Transformer information. Some of his video history is wrong, and it pissed me off with the misinformation. I don't like misinformation either, so I can't blame you. Opal. Have you seen Willy Wonderland, a.k.a. Nicolas Cage?
Nicolas Cage, I know he's the bees man. And I know that he is insane. I always get these weird specific questions about specific things. No, I mean, like, I have not seen him a lot because I don't really watch movies. But I have seen him and I do know who he is.
Let's see here. Opal scares me. She worries me. Jack of all claws. Whoa, what? Mr. Mercy pulled something on you? It seems out of character for him. If you understood what it was, it wouldn't. Let's see. The Funko toys are possessed. Not like the collecting them. Look at their soulless, hollow eyes. I'm a dick. I know you don't know horror. In answer to Blake Danielson, why is there some guy on 4chan always freaking out about you and retro blasting? He's really annoying and it's weird. Okay, I can answer that. There's a guy who went by the name of Arco Employee. I can't remember if it was 87 or 8, something like that, 83 I think it was. And Michael got into an altercation with him on Twitter back in February of last year, February or March. And they were arguing about the G.I. Joe classifieds because Michael had a negative opinion of them, and I jumped in the conversation. An ARPCO employee has been so mad about that conversation for over a year now that I've apparently been living rent-free in his head. I got an email randomly one day from some guy at 4chan saying, this dude constantly starts threads or constantly comments on threads, and anytime somebody makes fun of him, he thinks it's you. So I don't go to 4chan. This dude thinks I'm a 4chaner because I understand basic 4chan lingo through internet osmosis and being introduced to people who do go there and adopting those terms. And now the guy, like, he A-logs obsessively. He, like, tries to go on my social media to find what he thinks is dirt. And everybody just calls him stupid and tells him to go away. And he always thinks it's me. It is hilarious that I live rent-free in this dude's mind. He thinks I'm trying to go out there and dox him and all this other nonsense. I forgot he existed until I got that email. That dude is super butthurt, and it is hilarious. I cannot imagine being that dumb. Opal is right. We must rise against Funko. Correct. Hey, Lio, if you were to do a ThunderCats continuation with Animation Studio, would you put in charge of the studio, Madhouse Animation, TMS Entertainment, Studio 4C? I don't know who I would. But it probably wouldn't be any of those guys. I'd probably find...
TMS even exist?
No, I don't think TMS does anymore. And Studio 4C did the 2011 show, so no. Honestly, I'd probably try to get the Blue Studios to handle it. I don't watch Mr. Ender because I have a brain. Correct. Black Dot dies on a misshapen bulb heads. Wow, take my money. Actually, that reminds me, there's one criticism I have of the NECA Bebop. If you remove his glasses, he's got like these demonic black eyes with a white pupil.
Just like Eggman.
Yes, Autobot Starscream. I also don't use 4chan and learn to Lego secondhand. Can vouch for that phenomenon. Well, it's not hard to. It's like I never once read or saw anything about Harry Potter, yet I understand the story because I've heard about it and seen it in meme format so much at this point. Mark Flash, given the state of modern collectibles from old franchises, I'd rather stick with the vintage stuff. It may be cheaper at this point. I enjoy the hobby. It might be. That's sad. Would you like Hasbro to make a posable figure of Cyclops to go with the Dino Megazord? I would, but good luck. I went into a Rule 21 and got some Betty Boop t-shirts. Betty Boop's cute. I like her. Living rent-free, yes. The American dream at this point. Yes. I'm thinking about opening a pool in this goose head. And apparently, from what I call it, this dude got so upset that he wound up revealing what his 4chan screen name is. I think it's called Crimson Commander or something. Like, it just seems like a dude who gets really upset whenever you make fun of anything G.I. Joe related. It's amazing. But anyways, enough about that clown. Oh man, hated the day I found out about 4chan. True. How did the bird lose his eye? We don't talk about that. Also, Opal, I'd say that Funko is why Monopoly sucked like chunky clam chowder.
Hell yeah.
Allsport TV, just to clarify, I'm talking about the Playmates Rotocast retro figures. Not anything stupid. I know what you're talking about, man. I'm just saying you can get it cheaper. Hey, Lyle, what's your opinion on the Sonic fan base? I avoid them at all costs. I had one interaction with the fan base directly, and I can't remember what it was, but I was asking like for some like numerical information about something concerning either the original Sat AM cartoon or something, and they lost their minds. So I didn't even interact after that thread. I saw them going to war in the comments about Thundercats, and I just stepped away and never came back. Where's that guy at the Eagle's Nest that thinks all toys are creepy when they're actually creepy Funko Pops running around? That guy's actually building like homes for children in Africa. Oh, who died? Hello, child.
I have powers to just come in here? What the...
just a glitch on the end of Discord. Let's see here. Well, it's $16 a figure. I don't know how much fair it can be. Let's find out. I'm gonna do some real quick reconnaissance for my buddy here.
While you're doing that, Monday, Honey Pop 2 comes out. Very excited.
Why would you do this, child?
I need hype.
Not on this channel, you don't. Well, I can't seem to do anything on eBay right now. Fantastic. Whatever. I wonder what Michael's opinion on the Fortnite Steak Eyes. He had the opinion of, I called it. That was his opinion. He's like, I knew they were doing something like this. You could tell by the idea, by the design choices, I knew they were doing this. Let's see here. ThunderCats Wave 5s. Who's in your prediction for the wave? I have no clue, but I'm sure they're going to do something goofy. Let's see, Oscar, I hate Chartemus because he called me cancer because one of his begging for money videos I told him to just sell to me a free sample to get from Hasbro. Wow. Oof. Why was he begging for money? Further says you should watch freaking Willy Wonderland. It's basically FNAF. Okay.
I will not be pushed around.
I'll spark from Autobot Starstream. I can get a good Transformer Ross for 17 by waiting until it's on sale. You're not going to see that with these Ninja Turtle re-releases. Do you think you'll visit Japan, Catman? I could show you around the figure scene. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. I don't know why you keep calling me Catman. I'm not taking you to Japan. I will lose you there and you'll never come back. You're going to find one like Miku cosplayer and I'll never see you again.
Just find a cuter one. Make her go around with you.
I'm pretty sure that there will be some conflict of interest if I told my wife, "Hey, I'll be right back. I gotta go find a really cute Miku cosplayer."
I love Miku.
I know you
all
do,
of you
kiddo.
people. I will get a PO box for you to send me things. Please
Please don't do that. Please don't
send
do
me
that.
things.
You are a cute girl on the internet. They will send you things that you should not have. Anywho,
Aww.
see here. Yeah, well, hopefully we get on clearance mindsets. I mean, yeah, it's probably not the best thing to do for Ninja Turtles. Because the cat avatar, it's a lion avatar, a creepy lion avatar. How do you not know who Lio Convoy is? Adds a list, don't anger Opal ever. I mean, it is funny. You ought to hear her get really mad when I'm not around and she throws a temper tantrum wanting to know where I am.
Look, I don't like being left hanging.
I am not having a temper tantrum.
Don't play the clip.
I don't have it on hand.
Good.
I could, though. I
No.
can go to Mal's Twitter and find it right now if I wanted to.
No, don't
won't.
go on her Twitter.
I won't. I've seen some of the things Mal posts. I ain't doing that on live. Hey, Lyle, you know what's funny when watching the classic 80s Alvins and the Chipmunk? I noticed the voice of Dave is similar to the voice of Alvin Simon, which I found hilarious when you slow it down. It's probably the same voice actor. I'm saying
I
toy
like
clearance.
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yes, I'm saying toy clearances are better use of money than buying Funko Pops because they're cheap. Allspark TV doesn't plan on buying Funko Pops. He's referring to the reissued Ninja Turtle figures. Buying toilet paper is a better use of money than anything related to Pops. Correct. Opal sounds like she's trying to be your dad, but she doesn't rage. Oh, trust me, she does. She does. Wait for it someday. Get her mad. See what happens. I remember mistaking Miku for a custom Robo character as a teenager when I was out of the weeb internet loop. I just like to say it. I used to play it in high school. I used to cosplay in high school because I'm like 5'10" in Japan. I'm a giant. Hey, we're the same height. I've been binge watching shows. I want to start something from the 80s. Give me your top 3 recommended for watch. Okay, Avatar Michiro, is your preference Japanese or Western animation? Because that's going to go a long ways. I swear Funko does a better Snake Mountain for cheaper, though. That would be funny. I would try to defend Opal's possible cuteness, but I don't want to come off of me trying and failing to particularly to hit on her. So let's just say that she's more realistic than Joanne Rivers ever was. Ouch. Toilet paper is now worth its weight in gold. How am I taller than Lio? Because you're scrawny. Further, one wants to know, Opal, if you've seen or heard of Winx Club and Bionicle.
I know about Bionicles, but I don't know anything about them. I just know that little kids scream about them. And what was the other one?
Bionicle?
No, there's Bionicle, and then there's another one.
Winx Club?
Yeah, I know there is a remake of it, and Tumblr is really excited about it or something. But besides that, I am not very much aware.
I'm 5'10", Allspark TV. You've met me. You know this. Let's see here.
Why the fuck has everyone met you?
Because, okay, Allspark TV, Opal. Allspark's a Transformer thing. I go to Transformer conventions. You know that.
I want to meet you, so that way I'm on the equal playing field of mystery.
There will never be. Let's see. I know this girl in middle school who was obsessed with Miku and would always talk about it. It was probably Opal. You just didn't know it. Lio, thoughts on Lego turning 90? Well, pretty soon Lego won't be able to play with itself. All right, so Michiru asked for 80s cartoons. All right, so here's what I would recommend for 80s cartoons that were aired for America. All right, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe is a good choice. ThunderCats, obviously. Generation 1 Transformers is a lot of fun. Galaxy Rangers is a lot of fun. So is Brave Star. If we're talking about Japanese animation, I'd go with Fist of the North Star. And I'd actually go back to the 70s and I'd check out Gatchaman. Maybe even some Go-Go 13, some Lupin the Third, stuff like that.
Also, other good shows, Dungeons and Dragons, Ulysses 31, Mysterious Cities of Gold, Bionic 6.
Good luck with
What
that
else?
one, though.
Oh yeah, that is yet to be released on DVD. So all we have is VHS recordings.
I wish the Mask cartoon was good.
Let's
see here. I wish the Mask cartoon was good, but it didn't age well despite the catchy intro. Well, subjective opinion. So basically, similar anime picks to Bennett the Sage and Teddy Rubskin. I don't care for Bennett the Sage because he called Cam Clark a hack, and no. Jack of All Claw says, sorry. Also, Opal, sorry if my somewhat compliment was absolutely cringy. I was genuinely trying to be nice and lift your spirits. If Opal thinks you're being cringy, she'll tell you.
I will very much tell you if you are cringe, and you are not cringe. Here's the thing, when people talk about me, they either get very defensive of not wanting to sound creepy, or they are creepy. It's you could just say something. If I think you're cringe, I'll say it, and then just stop being cringe, and then you won't be cringe anymore.
Is Opal a rice chaser? No, her taste in boys is like the typical long-haired blonde kid that runs the gas station at 3 a.m. That's Opal's taste in men.
That is not true.
That's who you date.
My boyfriend isn't my taste at all.
Okay, that doesn't mean you should tell the rest of the internet what it currently is, and that's really sounds weird. But anywho, let's see here. Brave Star will make for some good Ultimate figures. Yes, if it was ran by a better company. Is Opal I already read that one. Yeah, Sage hates voice actors, huh? He even hated Vic before it was cool. Sage is an idiot. Starcom.
Now that I said I had a boyfriend, I won't get questions anymore.
You canceled yourself on the internet. Lyra Opal, will you draw a fat, sick alien from Galvatron web episode? I could probably commission Opal to do that. She'd probably be happy to do it because she likes drawing fat things. Sonichu is Nightmare Fuel. I think Opal might get mad about that one. Opal.
Who's Nightmare Fuel?
Sonichu.
Sonichu?
Yes.
You just don't have taste.
Deafman says, hey, Laya, what are your thoughts on Hokuto no Ken getting released? I am here for it. I have pre-ordered Volume 1 and 2. I am so excited to get those in a hardback or hardcover edition, just like the Berserk books. I am going to love it. YouTube keeps asking me if this video was a good recommendation. Well, I certainly hope it was. Sonic the Chew. Opal that won't stop people. Opal X Rodimus. I will fund a Japanese fan dub of ThunderCats one day. Good luck.
I will be all the ThunderCat.
Please no. We had plenty to choose from in the 80s and 90s. ThunderCats, He-Man, Mask, Voltron, Defenders of the Earth, Silverhawks, Bravestar, Mask, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Mazinger Z, TMNT, etc. I'd recommend Mazinger just watching the original show, not the Transzor Z dub. That thing was not very good. I already answered like 4 times. Keep showing up. This is when you start threatening it. Threaten to dox the algorithm, and it will stop. Lio, will you make a video about Galvatron Gone Crazy, the Web World episode, if you have time? One day I'll actually do it as a commentary on mental health. At least Teddy Rubskin doesn't go around picking fights with everyone. He just strongly prefers 70s and 80s animes over 90s forward. Well, why wouldn't he pick fights with everyone? That's half the fun of being on YouTube. Hey, Lio, how would you feel if we got an hour-long special He-Man, ThunderCats, Bravestar crossover? I'd probably be very angry because an hour long isn't good enough for that, and there's not a writer on this planet that is currently in the industry that would know how to write that. Opal X Rodimus. I don't know if he's her type. She has no clue who that is.
Sounds redonkulous.
You have to understand, guys, Opal's not an 80s kid, so wait until the
I'm 19.
Yeah, wait until the Google moderators show up and ban people for no reason. Well, they already do. What are your thoughts on the Transformers Robots in Disguise 2001? I loved that show. I loved Skybite, and I loved the fact that he wrote haikus. They have made Lion-O with a chrome sword. Yes, the San Diego Comic-Con Lion-O exclusive from Bandai in 2011. There was also a red version of him to reflect the episode Fond Memories. It was made for a Chinese comic convention. Opal X Garfield.
Yes. I have a Garfield cup right here. It's an old McDonald's limited edition.
Yeah, I know a lot of people meme on Garfield, but I can't meme on Garfield. I genuinely do like the character. You know, I'm fond of orange tabby cats, so that's my problem. Opal X Shrek. We don't talk about that.
I love Garfield and vintage McDonald's paraphernalia.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and end the stream in a little bit here because now we're just getting into people recommending who Opal X is with, including Shrek and Heathcliff. What are your thoughts on the Transformer animated show from 2007? Good, but overrated. Opal X the American Rabbit. I don't think she's ever watched that. Loud, just
I don't know what the fuck half of you people talk about.
That's because you're on a boomer's channel. All right, here's what we're going to do. If people want to see a video on my channel at some time in the future, not done by me, but done by Opal about a property she likes, press 1.
It's just going to be one. Of course, everyone loves me.
Angie, are any of the Transformers trans? Yes, actually, IDWRC is.
RC is... Holy shit! Are you serious?
The IDW version of RC, a specific comic version of RC is.
If one of them is, then all of them is.
That is not how universes work, kiddo.
It's how mine does.
Well,
I want more. That is awesome. I love that.
I don't think you're gonna like how it happened, but you're getting a lot of ones, kiddo. So I think you're. What's number 2? Number 2 is non-existent. Yes, as in one, or one as in yes.
I am going to make a cool video, and you guys have to watch it, or else.
There, of course, will be a quality vetting process. Opal, you don't get to just unload a 25-minute video about how much you like Sonichu. That's not going to happen.
What if it's a good quality video, though?
Opal cosplay as Chitara, press 3. No, thank you. I'd rather not see that.
I don't even know who that is.
No.
Dink Tara.
Hey, now. If you watch it, I'm going to start making fun of FNAF on here and make you really mad.
What? There's nothing to make fun of.
Is that a challenge?
No. There would be a lot of challenge in that. There's no reason.
Oh, I don't think there's any challenge to it. I think it'd be pretty simple. Like it's not my fault the security guard's a pussy and can't handle animatronics.
I don't think I want you to try and fight a robot and see how good you do.
What makes you think I haven't before?
Because you would have talked about it a billion times.
Kiddo, you have any idea how many stories I haven't told you guys yet?
I feel like it would have come up in conversation with the amount of times I've brought up FNAF.
Nope. Maybe I'm hiding it from you because I know you're very sensitive about animatronics. And I don't want to hurt your
You
feelings.
do this. I'm not sensitive about animatronics unless they're underwater.
I have heard you go off on somebody, destroying them verbally because they talk crap about Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, because they're fucking like they did know what they were talking about. It was actual slander. They're bullshit. I don't need to be nice to people who are wrong on purpose and spreading things that aren't real.
Slander, right? One means something nice about Opal, right? One means if anybody wants to see edited content on this channel from Opal about a topic she likes. I wouldn't mind watching a video done by Opal. Might be fun. Also, Opal is Chitara. You, correct. Hey, Lion-O. So Mumra in the original was a human, right? In the 2011 version, he's a demon or a bat. He's some sort of bat creature in 2011, but he was a human in the original show. Lio fought the robots to save Christmas. No, actually, I killed Santa Claus, but that's not a story for another day. FNAF brings a new meaning to the word, or to the phrase, get in the effing robot. Wait. FNAF question. Was Purple Guy a child?
Purple Guy was I mean, at some point I'm sure he was a child. If not, that would be weird.
Alright, so a giant live Gundam would beg to differ. Have you seen it? I will fight that Gundam. That's right on my list, right underneath punching a whale. But I think that's enough.
Trans.
I think that's enough of this nonsense for tonight. Scott Toy Guru is a dishonest Japan ape, so just have fun with that. I will check with you guys later. Have a good night.